So we're here at Handmade Metalcraft with Brad in Melbourne, and we've got a 33 Tudor. Brad's going to tell us a bit about this car. Brad?
This car came in for a lot of engineering rectification style work. So we put a new floor into the car and changed a lot of engineering underneath the vehicle to make it comply to current Victorian hot rod registration requirements.
So this car is a car that's been a project. It's probably seen more shed time than asphalt. We're here to help insulate the car. So Brad does all the metalwork side of things here. So traditional coach builder in that sense. All the floor, what we've got here is all aluminium foil that's bolted in. The car came to Brad painted, so I guess as he said, it's the engineering side of things to help get this thing on the road. Now fortunately we've got a lot of templates that Brad's used to make all the floor patterns for it. We're going to use them to our advantage with the deadener. So first thing we'll do is use the damping mat. These flat panels do have a lot of I guess noise, vibration, which is going to come through it. These cars weren't sealed like the new cars. I guess the ride in the suspension, the engine mounts, all that, you're going to get a lot of noise and vibration come through it. So the damping mat first, we're going to use that throughout, and then we'll go through, we'll put a firewall blanket in this, set it up to the stage that's ready to go to the motor trimmers. He'll then take it and put the upholstery in. Bit of a slant different on this car is that traditionally we use what we call a stage 2 on the floor. But because this floor needs to be removable, what's going to happen is that stage 2 is that carpet underlay will end up becoming part of the carpet, so it's removable for serviceability like things in the battery. So we'll get stuck into this thing. Let's go. So you can see in here these flat panel aluminium floor pan that's been made for it. There's sections with shape over the transmission tunnels, a few folds, but all these flat areas, when you tap on them, the car's very noisy. The stage 1 dampening mat that we're going to put it in, or commonly known as deadener, is going to make that so a single solid thud. So we're going to start with the firewall and go all the way down through, over the wheel arches, even the door skins, all those panels, line the whole inside of this thing. So it's going to make the car feel a lot more solid. And acoustically inside, by the time we put all the foams on this, it'll be something that's nice to drive. So the material we've got here is our stage 1 sound deadener. Now it's a rubber-based product. In engineering terms, they'll call it a constrained layer dampening mat. What that means is it's got a form of rubber underneath and then an aluminium layer. Almost think of it like a swimming pool with a pool cover on it, where that top layer is taking that shock energy from underneath and constraining the energy in there. So this material is ideal for panel resonance, noise and vibration coming up through your floor pan, your door skins where you'll get suspension, shock, travel, that sort of thing vibrate through the panels. It's going to help dull that off. You're going to use this product on your floor, vertical and inverted. It cuts easily with scissors. It's also waterproof. So for those four-wheel drive guys or guys with, I guess, convertible cars, they're worried about water. Water's not going to get underneath. The butyl-based rubber on it is wax-like, so water won't break it down, and it's pretty much ageless. Unlike the old school stuff, which was bitumen based, you'll find over time that stuff will start to shrink and crack and then delaminate, and people are concerned about rust, that sort of thing underneath. Provided you've cleaned your surface down, you'll stick this down, no water or moisture will get under it. So something you'll also notice with our product, it's got a dimple face. Now what that dimple face allows you to do, it's basically a guide code in that sense, if you reference it to like surfacing a vehicle, where this relies on having something to push it down and form it down so it's stuck. Any adhesive, say simple forms, your masking tape, which is wax-coated crepe paper, typically with an acrylic adhesive. If you don't press that down so the adhesive bites in, it's not going to stick. So your roller's going to be your friend to push and form it in. But these actual bumps on the top, they're raised at the moment. As we roll through the product, you can see that they'll flatten out. So that gives you a guide to say, hey, that's where it's been rubbed, particularly on areas where you're working against gravity, vertically or inverted on a roof skin. So we're going to start this car now, and first and foremost is to figure out, okay, where am I going to start? Now, nature of the beast says, hey, let's put it on the floor, but reality is, when you logically think about it, is I'm going to crawl all over the floor and I'm going to tear this stuff, it's going to stick to my pants, all that sort of thing. So what you want to do is work top down. Now the roof on this car is already done, where it's got a heavy textured bitumen based coat that's still in good condition. We're not going to touch it. We're going to start from the quarter panels down. Treat it as a heat map, and this open area that you can see in here This is where all the noise is. Think of it as a drum skin. If this is the hemmed edge of it, you're not getting much sound travel through here. It's all happening in this middle spot here. So we want to cover that area. Now these sheets, size of these sheets allows us to fit in here quite well, where we're just below that line and we fit there. What I'm going to do is you could make a template. It's easy enough to just form this in, that it is flexible. And now I can get a texture, draw on there, cut a nice curve. Now, I'm not concerned with trying to cover 100% of the vehicle. A lot of people you'll see get on and OCD kicks in and you want it to be better than your mate next door, so you're going to, no, I bought another box, I did more than you. Reality is, you want to cover these areas at minimum. There's going to be hardware bits where we're going to work around, and I'm just going to leave them clear. So I'm going to start doing this area, work around and work down. So we've got our first sheet here. Now, something we want to do is ensure that this is clean. It's that old thing when you go to the hardware store and you get those self-adhesive hooks. Who wipes their wall down before they put them on? Reality is not many people. You just stick them on and then you complain the product didn't work. Cleaning the surface down, like this could have had silicone, grinding dust, anything in it. So even when I do that, I can see that it is dirty. Get some prep wash, wax and grease remover. If you just use the white-based spirit or alcohol-based, wipe it down so it's dust-free and clean, then you're not going to have any adhesive issues. So another tip for you is self-adhesive, 100% strength at the moment. As soon as I stick my hand on it, I'm going to contaminate that surface and then the adhesion's going to be less. So try and avoid touching it. You can usually get your fingernail in between, and I'm actually pulling on the aluminium there. Or just peel a small amount off so you're not touching this face, and then you can tack that down. So we've got some joints here where you can see different pieces have made up. Now to seal that up, if you want to make it all nice and neat, or you want to be able to wipe this out and not catch an edge, we've got a foil tape. So this is a black foil tape that we could just stick straight over the top. So we've got our stage 1 dampening sheet throughout now, from the firewall up to the rear windscreen pretty much, and the waterline, I guess, or the DLO of the car here. So you can see on the doors, that's all dampened. As far as the doors go, we're going to have a door trim going here. We've got window glass. Do you put foam on the inside? If you want some thermal insulation, or if you've got speakers in the car, you might be concerned about that back wave sound, that you want to try and soften it and increase the performance of your speakers. Yes, you can. More so importantly is the firewall of the car. If we take a look at this firewall, you can see we've got the dampening sheets on it. However, that's not all you need to put there. Usually in production, cars will have a heavyweight sound barrier there. So this material that we've got here is our mass noise liner. It's got a foam decoupling layer and then a mass loaded vinyl as a sound barrier. Now, this material is not a peel and stick. It goes foam side forward. We've already made this one here off a template that we had, because it's got a bunch of holes. So any hole that you got in the vehicle, you want to keep to a minimum. Think about it like if you don't put a grommet in your firewall and you can feel that engine heat come in, noise is going to be a problem. It's the same sort of thing. This is going to help reduce noise and heat. And this is going to take all that engine noise and heat that's getting thrown at the firewall and make the car actually feel nice to drive. So this typically finishes about around in line with your brake pedals, where your floor pan sort of transitions from your firewall. Now, being a mechanical fasten, Brad's fabricated this beautiful bit of metal, which bolts up in the car, and then the mat hangs over these holes, and we can just put a washer and fastener and that'll hang it there. You then could choose to use some glue, contact adhesive, and lightly spray the face if you need it, if it's falling forward or there's some hollow points in the firewall. We'll go in now and we'll put this in. Then that'll allow us to put all the heater control system, everything in there. So build sequence on a car like this that's under a full restoration, yes, you can do it. If you've got a late model car and you're trying to insulate it, you're typically never going to pull all the dash out, get all the heater control system, disconnect all your fluids just to do this. And your car already typically has one of these, so you're usually right. So that's our firewall blanket fitted in, and you can see we picked up on some of those fasteners there to hold the vertical weight, and it sits there quite well in this car. Now you can see minimal holes that we've cut around here. There's another blanking one that we've got here that the heater hoses will pass through, but this is the big thick blanket. That's what truly stops that sound and heat coming through that firewall. We finished it down here on the footwell where it becomes horizontal. Now typically this is where your underlay might flick up past this, maybe 6 inches or so, and run all the way under the carpet where your occupants sit. So your options for your carpet underlay, we've got our acoustic liner here, which is a twin layer foam. So this is a replacement to what you'd call your cotton shoddy, or what looks like a cotton mill scrap, a removalist blanket. Concerns with that product are that water gets on it, it soaks in, it breaks down. The top layer of this is waterproof in the sense, so if you spill a drink in the car, you don't have to worry that it's soaked through and you're going to have issues with it. Now this is a self-adhesive product too, so it's a peel and stick. Now you can either stick this direct to the floor pan. In this case, you'd work out how your carpet's going to sit. This car's a bit different because you've got access to things like your brake master cylinder here where you need to check fluids, so you need to be able to bolt this apart. If this was a typical pressed floor pan mono construction car or pickup or a ute, whatever it is, you got the options to stick this down to the floor. Typically you allow for your wiring loom to run through here, so it might fall up short and you might have a plastic trim that sits over it. So this will cover pretty much down there, and then you'd put a molded carpet over the top. In this car, it's going to get a tailor-made carpet. They'll have the option to run this in reverse, where they could make the carpet, stick that to the face of the carpet, and then pull the carpet out. This forms the underlay.